Hey everyone! Hope you enjoyed Chester and No Wait What Happened to Nico. That project was my most favorite project to work on in the year, and we all worked so hard on it, and I'm glad I finally got to release it to the public. For those of you who tuned into the premiere, thank you so much. Your support helps out a whole lot. And for those of you who didn't, Nah, I'm just playing. I'm not really gonna take your Christmas presents. That was just some dumb joke to get people to join the stream, and it obviously didn't work. But anyways, the video is still up, so you can view it at any time, no harm, no foul. Now that that's all over, I figured I'd tell you guys about some things first. Firstly, I'm sure you probably guessed, but I'm finally taking a much needed break from the channel that I've told you guys about. I've been working really hard these past couple months, and the work world is really starting to get to me. Like, I did 2 major projects in the same month, and they were both over 30 minutes. So you could tell that the workload was huge, and it was. No, don't worry, the puppets will be fine. I've recorded some archive tracks for their voices so they can keep their voices while I'm gone. So they'll be fine. I'll probably be off for January and plan to return mid-February with the possibility of a remake to Chester and the Valentine's Day special, and possibly a remaster of Valentine's Day Doppelganger. Now again, these are all possibilities, so don't get upset if these things never end up happening. The good news is, now that I'm taking a break from the channel, I can finally hang out with friends! Or, only if they want to hang out, I'm not going to put that peer pressure onto them. In all seriousness, I'm going to take this break not only resting, but focusing on other works for other people in the near future that I'm looking forward to, so that's exciting. In the meantime, while I'm gone, why don't you check out some of the other content on the channel that you may have missed? A lot of videos on there are unfortunately underrated in terms of viewership, so you should check those videos out while I'm gone. Or return to some old classics like Chester and the WarioWare. That one is always a gem to watch again. Well, now that that's out of the way, what's next for the future of this channel and other endeavors? Well, firstly, one thing is for sure, you're definitely going to be getting more Chester and the Others videos. That's an easy given. The series is like my child, and I want to see it grow as much as you do. Now that all those puppets have been released from the loan, I'll use that as an opportunity to create more series and expand on the Pierce Puppets Productions universe. Yeah, if you watch What Happened to Nico, you'll probably hate hearing the word universe, but hey, if you can think it, then that new But hey, if you can think it, that new universe is real. Like the universe where you don't get tired of hearing the word. There, it exists now. Anyways, about the new expansion pack, or should I say, new funky mode if you will. I have actually already announced one of those series called Griddle and Chad. The only reason why I didn't continue with it is because it feels too similar to Chester and the Others, and when you make a series like that, I always try to figure out, what can you do differently with that show, what would I do to make it its own thing? I've been experimenting with it, but that's gonna have to be solved in the near future. I also want to make some more Adam Nectar covers. The You Are Next song was dumb, sure, but it was still fun to make. Maybe even some original songs from the near future too. If I actually get good at song making or I get a composer. I actually want to do something with some characters that you think you may not have seen before, but one of them actually made a cameo in Chester and the WarioWare, and that's called the Purposely Bad Bags. Now that has been a series I had in the mind for a while too, but it has the same problem as Griddle and Chad, wanting to make it differently from the main series. It can be easier because, well, it's quite literally in the title, Purposely Bad Bags. I could probably figure stuff out for that. In addition to that, I want to do something with the puppets from Pietro di Amore. Now obviously that would have to be super different from the main series, and I definitely want to get in contact with the original writer Justin Robinson to see if he would want to do something to be cooked up with it. Who knows, maybe I'll bring back some members from the original cast too. Again, I'm not putting any peer pressure, it's just only a suggestion if they want these roles again. One thing for sure, I do want to make a series out of these guys. But if I do, I probably won't be performing as much in that show, as I want to focus more on the director side of things here. I love directing for the original play, and if it were to be a series, I would love to return to the directing world. I've done a bit of that for What Happened to Nico, but that was mostly for myself in the filming processes, but for pre-production, I definitely had that freedom there with the voice actors. I may do an occasional cameo here and there if that were the case, but again, we'll have to see. In addition to that, I want to write videos with some more people next year. One thing I've noticed in my filming process is, I work better when more people are involved. Let's face it, eventually, I can't do this whole thing by myself. Well, I mean, I can, but that just seems too draining and too unrealistic. But if I write with other people, then the process moves faster. The ideas are running around more, and it's overall just more fun to work on. We've seen proof of that in Chester and the Warrior, where my good friend and closest content partner, Jeremy, helped me write the episode. To this day, it's one of my favorite Chester and the Others episodes, and we've obviously seen that happen with Chester and the Way What Happened to Nico. I brought back Jeremy to help out with the animation, and then brought in my closest friend Caleb on board to help basically write the entire episode. That is not only my favorite video I ever worked on because of how wonderful it is, writing with more people gets me working and keeps me motivated throughout. In addition to that, I want to do some more collabs in the future. Now that's not necessarily in the writing, but the more of the working together aspect of it, you know, like two people on the same screen. I collab with Jeremy a whole ton on a bunch of projects, but I definitely want to do collabs with some more people and try some new things. It could be writing an episode together, doing a fun impression game for Pearsons, or maybe working on a new series that I could be working on. But once again, we'll have to see. Anyways, from this point onward, it should be self-explanatory on what I want to do for the channel, but there is one more thing I haven't spoken about, and that's this new series called Neat Commentary. Clever, ain't it? We've seen a bit of that from my discussion about Pietro D'Amore, but I feel like I spoke mostly about the puppets more than I did with the actual show. So that got me thinking of what I can do with the other videos, most notably what happened to Nico. So once I start up the series, that will be the first video where I share what went mostly on behind the scenes. So be sure to look out for that when it releases, you know, whenever that'll be. Anyways, there is one last thing I want to go over. I do have a little surprise for the people who actually watched the video. Trust me, we're almost done. Believe it or not, despite me talking so low about it, I did actually make a pilot for Griddle and Chad that never got released. Or at least it was supposed to. It was supposed to premiere in a film festival, but to my luck, it ultimately never happened and it got abandoned very quickly. So I decided to just release it anyway, but since the quality is lower than usual, I do have it unlisted, so click on the card for early access to the pilot. Again, I don't know how this would look like if I do end up making a full series out of it, but again, that's for another time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll go ahead and take my break now, and have a happy new year, and a good rest of your day.